Okay, we've started. Okay.
So last semester we played around with putting water into paper into water, paper into ash. It was a whole process, and we were in lockdown, so I used the materials I had at hand. So I did a lot of boiling up of various native pieces of leaves and gum leaves, and I tried thyme, because thyme boiled up apparently produces light green, but it doesn't, so that chef was lying. So I tried a lot of things. So then I thought, why don't I use my cupboard? So I used turmeric. I tried coffee. Coffee wasn't as good as I thought it should be. I tried tea. I tried this plant material that I use, which is a purple and green leaf. Really, I love the colour, particularly in here. I love it. And I used rock and spice, which is this bit here, which I kind of really loved. I put that aside and I played around a little bit more with certainly the lime ink drawing over the top of it, and dotting, which I really, really love. It's really meditative. It's very meditative. So I really loved what you could do with these random lines that the fluid just pushed into it. When this was out on my deck, and these were lines that the wind just blew into it. And I really love that. I'm into control with my oil paints, and I loved what the direction that this was taking me. Is that this is what you've got, deal with it and turn it into something else. Mm-hmm. It was the petals and the flowers off the macadamia tree, which I boiled up quite a bit. I don't think it was terribly healthy, so I did end up opening all my windows and boiling it up with all my windows open. But I did end up putting gin in it to give it make it more stable, apparently, a bit of alcohol. That's what I was told. So that was another play, So I then bounced off into this one, which I did last week and the week before. I haven't been well, so it was about kind of playing when I could. I'd have a window of opportunity about 3 hours that I'm up. And once again, the wind was blowing very strongly, and outside, whilst it was drying in the sun, you know, you get these bits that it just blows. Deal with it, see what you can make into this. Again, this was turmeric, a lot of different spices and things that I had in the cupboard that I used, that I pulled out. Then I thought, what about using watercolour pencils to add colour to this? Because I felt it was too yellow. So in the last 2 days, I've been playing with watercolour pencil. Why I chose watercolours because the base was watercolour. So I didn't want to use things that were too harsh, that didn't blend. I wanted to blend it. I also found out that having put turmeric over the top of it gives the texture of the paper. It enhances it. So rubbing the side of the watercolour pencil gives you another texture. And I'm going to explore this further. This is only half done. So that was fun. That then bounced me onto, I've played with watercolour pencil a bit. Whole drawing, and I was just added watercolour pencil. We also did stitching this semester, and I stitched her hair, but I wasn't terribly happy with that yet. I stopped stitching. So I decided to do how rich can I make a watercolour pencil drawing, because it's a drawing. It's fine with acrylic and it's fine with oil, you can just boost colour. But with watercolour pencil, it was a whole different medium I hadn't played with really a lot. So, and I'm into gum nuts at the moment, and I loved the photo of this is harsher than the watercolour drawing. So I really put the photo aside and just went right ahead with what I was doing. It's all watercolour and a little bit of gel pen to give it white highlights. The same here, it's all watercolour pencil. A lot of layers and layers of watercolour pencil. Yeah. So water and then another layer, water and then another layer.
And you water the paper and then paint? Or
No.
paint?
No, do it with a brush. Yeah, do it with a brush. So I draw and then watercolour it with a brush and then layer it again. And also layering it whilst it's wet with the side of the pencil is really good. It gives you almost ink.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really fabulous. I mean, I think I might get the $700 box.
Oh yeah.
For Christmas.
Yeah, you
for
can get
myself.
some beautiful watercolors. Yeah.
So I really enjoyed this process. I'm not totally happy with the finish, but this I'm going to explore more because I'm thinking about all kinds of dyes. I've been doing a lot of research on. In fact, there was on Gardening Australia last week. There was a woman who has specialised in it after doing her degree in Canberra. She's literally produced every dye from every gum tree that is in her area, and every time of the week she changes, boiling up the leaves at different times of the year.
Wow.
And she's an international resource. So she's dyed papers and sticks and weaving and
Oh, that's fantastic.
wherever it says.
And she's made that freely available to.
She's made it freely available.
to
You
buy.
can check it out on Gardening Australia.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and very, very academic. Very academic. So, have I answered all of those questions? I think I have.
I think so. Yeah. So,
What research did I engage in? Well, I can't remember all the others, but I looked at so many.
Like you just talked about her.
Yeah.
So we'll look at the dyes. Yeah.
The challenges and technical problems. Well, I'm not sure how archival they are. That's we're not sure. I am going to seal them completely.
yeah, using a varnish of some matte varnish.
Yeah, well, I've done that with a spray varnish, but I think I'm going to use a matte varnish.
Yeah,
and see
exactly.
I mean, it's also similar to Susanna. These are much better papers. I went to much better papers. This is just an art chafe matte, and I bought $100 worth of paper towards home.
Yeah.
So I'm ready. That really inspired me to use better papers. Multi-layered, yeah. What makes a portfolio coherent? The portfolio is coherent to a degree. It's not what I would normally put up if I was doing a display, but it is the progress. And that's what it's about. It's about the teaching progress and where you take it and how I've evolved through that. I think I probably have a style that I'm fine. But I quite like that it forces me to do, because watercolour pencil forces you into accepting what you've been given, which I'm not good at. I'm like, I know I can make it better. I know I can make it better, which you can do with oils, but you can't with this because this is what I've been given. So how am I going to utilise that? I really like that concept.
So I'm curious, in the process when you say the wind blows, what do you mean? Like how?
Well, when I pour it outside.
So you have the boiling pot of color.
I have the boiling pot. I've poured it into a jug and let it cool. I don't put it on hot. Let it cool. So I have all my little jugs of boiled up
Different
concoctions. Yeah, bush concoctions. So I have them on. Then I put this outside, weigh it down. And pour them on. I love the splash dark. This was
Yeah.
this was cinnamon. This was
Did it
cinnamon.
kind of pull?
This was cinnamon.
Did it stay in?
Yeah, no, I dropped the cinnamon on dry.
Oh.
Yeah, and so it seeps and stays. That's quite rough. And then I just add dotting to make it even stronger because it's a little bit too blotchy. But I use cinnamon and nutmeg. So, you know, my painting smell.
Beautiful. Yeah.
But I really quite like then adding colour through the watercolour pencil. And I think that I will experiment with inks and see what I can do with that too.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Mm.
This one, it reminds me, it's like a live organism. It feels like a virus or like something organic that is inside the body, and I find it interesting because you are doing it while you are sick. So like it's like kind of like you're drawing what's happening in your body.
Yeah. That's very
true.
That's very
It's a good point.
information too.
Yeah. I find that mauvey, sort of bluey pinky area that you've coloured there is just so compelling. I just keep
It's
going.
great, isn't it? I
There's
really-
something
Yeah.
beautiful and luminous about that.
That's like 6 colours.
Right.
Yeah, 6 watercolour. And that is the plus about a watercolour pencil. Is you can do so many colours on top of each other, watercolour them in, and they all just, again, random, go into their own little colour.
Yeah.
I tried not to be too controlling with it, I really did. But yeah, I really like
Then again,
it.
you put a shade of colour in there.
And it really puts me out of the control. You know, oil painting, you know, very controlled.
Mm.
And it changes that and makes me looser, which is half of the reason I came to the course, is to loosen up my work.
Yes. Be more
We
experimental.
all need
Yeah.
to do what Picasso did. Is by the time he forgot everything he'd learned, he thought he was a good artist.
Mm. Mm. That's right.
Yeah.
Super inspiring.
I love it.
You
There's
do?
a great figure in there.
There's a figure in there.
There's
I
a
like
beautiful head
this.
with a shoulder. Straps coming out. Shows this woman in there. I look good like that. Awesome.
It's ridiculously